You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure you check out the Glebe Central Pub right in the heart of the Glebe. The bus is on the way back to the pub right now. If you were on it, if you are on it, let us know in the comments. We love hearing the people enjoying the GCP. If you want to get on the bus, get your tickets, $17 round trip to and from the heart of the Glebe. And the CTC was where a victory was had tonight. The Ottawa Senators get a 4-3 win in a shootout over the Vegas Golden Knights, the first time ever beating Vegas on home ice and only the second time in 12 games ever. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller and Pilsy. We're still going to erase the curse when we go to Vegas, but it felt very nice to finally win at home.
Oh, man, this was a great win all around, Ross. I think pretty much top to bottom, this team played well. They were able to last through regulation, through overtime, and then get the win in shootout. I know you don't love the shootouts, Ross, but this, I thought, was a slam dunk shootout win. When you look at the guys Vegas was missing and the way Forsberg was playing and the shooters that Ottawa has, I felt like they were going to get that win, so you love to see that. And look, maybe it's a little far to go to say that Forsberg stole this win for them, but he definitely was the most impactful player, and he kept them in this game with very huge, timely saves.
My TSN turning point was the breakaway save on I even forget who got the shot.
Stevenson?
No, that one was in overtime, right?
I got him.
Was it Stevenson? It was in the second period.
Oh, no, you're talking about Rempal.
Rempal, thank you. Yep. Sorry, I don't know your name, Rempal. All I know is Anton Forsberg got the better of him. That goes in. It's a 2-goal game again, and I mean, not kiss it goodbye, but it's a lot steeper of a hill to climb. Yeah. Anton Forsberg was unreal. So many high leverage saves, as you mentioned, and his glove was working in the shootout and in regulation.
Flashing the leather. Woo! Yeah, that's what you love to see. That's a confident goalie, and ever since he's come back, he's been playing well. So you love to see that from Forsberg. And sure, a lot of Vegas's kind of high offense guys, Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, those guys weren't here, but he had to make big saves when it was just him all alone back there, and he does it. So you love to see that from Anton Forsberg. Hashtag goalie friendly show. Let's go.
Oh, Anton Forsberg, unreal, giving the team a chance to win, even though Ottawa allowed 2 of the first 12 shots in the game. So everyone was looking, they're like, 800 save percentage, that ain't it. And then Anton Forsberg just shut the door the rest of the way. Stick tap sends Van and Van. We would love to be up in the booth, man. It would be an absolute blast, but we get to vibe with the people, the good citizens out there. And when our friends Sensual Healing put out this beautiful Send Central logo, we had a couple haters, just a few. Say, what is that? A Vegas Golden Knights logo? Well, guess what? Now we eat the Knights, because when you beat them, you can stand over them and say, well, we're just going to take it because what's yours is ours, getting the big win. Now I need one. Actually, I'm going to put the 4th name on here. Josh Norris has the helmet. We'll get to our Send Central standouts. We'll get to how everything is going to break down, but I want to talk, and maybe it's a bit of a moot point because of the way that the game ended in regulation, where Vegas was able to score with a minute left. But right before that, man, that block from Vladimir Tarasenko, great game from Vladimir Tarasenko overall. Have you ever seen an overtime with that many whistles, though? That was shocking.
Well, it was a lot of whistles because it was end-to-end action with big saves. I thought that, and it's actually nice to get a lot of whistles in OT because you get the fresh legs. You got fresh legs 3-on-3, all that ice, and both teams' top players. You're probably going to get some good hockey, and that was one of the more thrilling overtimes we've seen. And yeah, Ross, Tarasenko coming up with a huge block, but I feel like that's a 1-for-1 move there because he had a wide open opportunity. I forget when it was, but Brady slid it over to him, wide open net, and I think it was Martinez that blocked him there. So if you're going to get blocked like that, you got to make sure you can even it out the other way, and Tarasenko does that.
5 different shifts, complete 3-on-3 shifts in overtime for the Senators in this game. And it was just tonight, it was a culmination of what the entire team was going to do. And we saw that with block shots, and that's been a trend over the last few weeks, or last week of play. Now, Vegas also blocked a ton of shots in this game, so it wasn't as lopsided as some of the other games, but still a solid effort defensively with 21 blocks. Ottawa outshoots their opponent again. Where did this game turn for you? Was it that save? Because I got right into it with Anton Forsberg. Or was there another moment where you started to say, hey, even though they're down 2-0, this doesn't feel like it did earlier on in the season where it would have ended up being a 6-1, 6-2 loss?
Yeah, I'm trying to decide, Ross. I think you might have the moment there, that big breakaway save on Rempal, because he had a massive breakaway. Like, he was behind the D. The pass is right on his tape from the blue line. No one's even close to him. And right there, like you mentioned, if he scores that puts Vegas up 3-1, and that makes things tough there. So I'm going to agree with you. I wish I had a better one or something to come at you with, but I think that's the TSN turning point right there.
Such a solid performance by so many. But let's run through how we got there tonight. And the Ottawa Senators give up the first goal for the 7th time in their last 8 games. They scored first. It's like clockwork at this point. But what they were able to do is still kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to say carry the play for the period. They outshot them 8-6 in the first period. Didn't get anything on their first power play. Second power play, not a whole lot either. So it just kind of felt like, you know what, you go in and regroup into the second. Do you have any notes you want to get to in the first? Because for me, there wasn't a whole lot.
No, that's about it, except the first goal, Ross. Kind of 2 weak plays. Chychrun tries to pinch. He misses it. Timmy goes to collect the puck. He just has one hand on a stick. Kind of weak. Carlson gets it from it, turns it over, and Marchessault is able to go right into the slot. And then you don't love seeing a backhand beat a goalie from that far out, but it's a nice shot. And I'm more kind of pointing towards Timmy and Chychrun there. Like, if you're going to pinch, at least make sure you're covered. And then he misses the pinch, and Timmy not strong enough on the puck in your own zone for my liking. So not terrible, but some room for improvement there.
I think so. And you can add in, like, Hamonic gave up so much space and there was nobody else like backdoor. You'd understand if there's a passing option where the defender would have to back off. Heck, I thought Sanderson backed off too much shorthanded on the power play goal that Vegas scored in the second period to make it 2-0 Chandler Stevenson. And when you watch contrastly to that, the Vegas penalty kill, they're on you. Every time the puck moves, they get on you really quickly. And I felt like Ottawa's defenders on both the goals against drifted a little too far back. I'm not blaming Hamonic for that. It was obviously, I think you're going to look at Tim Stützle, but kind of a comedy of errors. That's one that certainly will make the video session tomorrow, and guys can learn from that. And in the second period, that goal I just mentioned where it's like 12 seconds into the penalty, it's like if Ottawa's going to give up one in the penalty killing situation, it's going to be early. And they lose the face-off, then they stay passive, and Chandler Stevenson, it was a good screen. Give the guy credit in front of the net. I think it was William Karlsson, but Forsberg looked the wrong way. And when he looked the wrong way, he drifted towards the corner. And hey, credit to Stevenson, man. A heck of a player, puts that one and makes no mistake.
Yeah, you took it right out of my mouth, that one, Ross. Because that's what I saw in that play. I was like, that's a veteran move by Karlsson, making sure he's screening. Because what that does is Karlsson's on this side, because Karlsson's right in front of Forsberg, and then Sanderson's in front of Karlsson. Carl's on that side. Sanderson is on the other side. So Forsberg can't double look around Sanderson. So what he has to do is he has to look around Karlsson. And what he does when he does that, opens up that far side. And Chandler Stevenson, he reads that whole play going on and picks the spot. Like, I don't have a lot of blame to go there. Maybe you'd like Sanderson to be a little more aggressive rather than kind of standing and waiting and trying to block the lane. Because, I don't know, maybe Sanderson doesn't know Karlsson's behind him screening Forsberg. So that's a little tough. But again, not a complete ultimate breakdown there. And that's one Forsberg would probably like to have back, but not a terrible goal in my opinion.
Yeah, you know what? It's the only PK goal that they gave up this game, so at least they were able to straighten it out, the other kill. Now, it's too early in a Vibecast, Pilsy, for me to bring up Travis Hamonic's game tonight. He hadn't played in a little while, but my next note is Travis Hamonic is an agent of chaos. And I think that Jacob Chikrin struggled, especially defensively in this game. Don't get me started in overtime. Passing the puck to Batherson, who's going off. He made a few boneheaded plays in overtime. I don't know if you saw, I pulled up to bring up in my notes just the who played in overtime, but I have an asterisk where it's just like my thoughts, not the play-by-play. I said I'm really questioning Chikrin's hockey IQ with the way he's playing defensively. But anyways, that's too early in a vibecast for that, Pilsy.
Yeah, we don't need that right now.
No, we don't. What we do need is the Anton Forsberg praise, because Forsberg's glove save, it was after a bad giveaway from the Chikrin and Hamonic pair. Nick Hague walks in backhand. He walks in off the side, cuts backhand. And like, I think what the most you can say about Forsy tonight, and yeah, he had active hands. The glove was working. He had a great blocker save in overtime as well. But he was tracking pucks so well. Like, even when he was like sliding down, he was always square to shooters, man. When he's at that level, he's at the top of his game, man. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, and speaking of him tracking pucks, there was a play early on in the first where he makes a pad save, and then the rebound gets knocked up, and it's one of those weird ones where it's a flutter puck, and you got to take a second to find it. He finds it and punches it with the blocker to save it from bouncing in the crease or even worse in the net there. So, yeah, I really like this game from Anton Forsberg. And I noted that on that play you were referencing, Ross, where like Nick Hague, like he's more of a kind of big physical defenseman. He gets through Chikrin, dekes right through him with ease. A guy that we known for good stick, good gap control, able to stop guys trying to get through him. Doesn't work there. And then Hamonic's trying to sprawl to try to stop it too. So those two guys are damn lucky that Forsy bailed them out there with a good glove save.
From chaos to celebration, the Ottawa Senators opened their side of the scoring 9 minutes into the second period. Thomas Chabot gets his third straight game with a goal. This was just a great hustle play from Giroux. Even better effort play from Matthew Joseph to poke the puck up to the blue line, and Chabot with the patience and the drive. And I don't know if I've seen him shoot the puck as well as he has recently in a long time, man. He knew where he was putting that and did not hesitate.
Well, what I like about Chabot recently, Ross, is I think last year and years past, the old Chabot is shooting that puck into some shin pads, right? A weak wrister that's hitting shin pads, and you're like, well, that's kind of a waste of a play there. New Chabot, though, and he did this, I forget which game it was, but I was referencing it. I think it was when I was with Martian. He waits, sees he doesn't have the lane, so he sidesteps to the middle, and then he's like, okay, there's a lot of traffic in front here, so maybe it's going to deflect and hit someone and maybe doesn't get through. But this was a better shot opportunity than what I had before, and he's able to get it through. He doesn't have that big booming slap shot, but he's got a shot that can thread the needle if he's able to. And if you get traffic in front, that's hard for Logan Thompson to see it, and it just goes right through. So, yeah, Shabby, shout out Shabby. 3-game goal streak. And honestly, Ross, I thought he could have had a goal and 2 assists on this one. We'll get to his play on the next upcoming goal. But again, Anton Forsberg, great game. Thomas Chabot, maybe just as good of a game, honestly. Like, it was a great job by number 72.
And if you're with us live in the postcast, make sure you vote for who should get the Ottawa Fire helmet from Josh Norris. All the options are right there for you. You can have your vote. We'll get to that later on during our Send Central standouts presented by the Glebe Central Pub. Couple good chances each way. The Pinto Tarasenko Kachuk line had a great shot off the ruck. And then the blocker save I mentioned on a William Karlsson 2-on-1. And then we already talked about the breakaway on Rempal from the blue line with 6 minutes left in the period. And then I want you to walk me through this game-tying goal with 1 minute and 13 seconds left. Drake Batherson back on the board.
Yeah, so this one, it's Batherson from Kachuk and Norris, but it's one of those plays, Ross, where I wish either they allowed third assists to be counted or Norris didn't touch this one, because I really thought this was a great play from Thomas Chabot. The puck is kind of bouncing at the blue line. It's about to go out, and he's got pressure on him. So, again, he doesn't just fire it into shin pads and hope for the best. He has a heads-up play, sees Norris all alone in the corner there, so he slings it into the corner to keep it in, bounces off the boards. Martinez misses it. Norris pokes it over to Brady. Brady gets it, heads-up play to see Batherson in the slot, and Batherson, when he rips it in the slot and he's able to hit the net, it's such a, and as Drake Batherson would say, a crispy shot, and Thompson has no chance there. That's a beautiful power play goal. A guy who I can't believe they at times had him off the power play, because he seems like a power play merchant. So to take him off just is wild to me. He's back on there and he lights the lamp there with the man advantage. So you love to see it. But again, I want to give stick taps to Tom Chabot for keeping that play alive and moving.
Well said. After going 5 straight games without a point, make it 6 straight games without a point, and only 1 in an 8-game sample. Now Drake Batherson, coming off a 2-assist performance against Dallas, gets on the board his 18th goal of the season, and it brings the game tied going into the third period, where it was a quick start. Tarasenko had a good chance early on, and then Josh Norris gets a tip in front on this Thomas Chabot point shot. Eric Brandstrom with the other assist. That's 5:48 into the period, and like streaky goal scorers, right? Josh Norris got off the schneid, and now back-to-back games with a goal. Good for him.
Ross, I was a little nervous this was going to get called back for being high sticking. It was damn close, but the commentators didn't seem to think it was close. They didn't really talk about it on the replays. Nobody looked to challenge it. So I was kind of like, drop the puck, let's go, let's move it. But apparently it was clean. So that's a nice job. And if you're Josh Norris, a guy that needs to start scoring goals to live up to his contract, sure, it's not the one-timer from his office on the power play like we're used to seeing, but we'll take this. You got to find other ways to score if you're Noof. So I love that. But sticking on this, Ross, the Ottawa Senators account tweeted out Noof. Is that how we're spelling Noof? N-E-U-F?
We got some great Newfoundlanders citizens here. I want them to tell. I go with the W.
Yeah, that looks so weird to me. That almost looks like they're
calling
trying
them
to
Dubai. Dubai,
Yeah.
B''Y. We'll have to stick with that,
Yeah.
because I don't know. I don't think the U is it, but you know what?
No.
I know Newfoundland is spelled with a W, so Noof, you just take the rest of the word off. Yeah, we got Noof with a W. I'll just assume Kyle knows what he's talking about, because the first one I saw.
maybe this is it. And I was just about to say that. I was like, Noof, like are they going for the French connection there? So there we go.
Oui. Ça c'est bon. J'aime ça.
I'm the anglophone on this pod, so that one probably was going to go over my head. Although I almost had it. I was too nervous to
Don't say mon faute. I wouldn't have had that. No. Wouldn't have been me. But Josh Norris had the tip, and absolutely love that. The Overmaster saying, isn't he U.S. born? Yeah. His dad is from Newfoundland. He played pro hockey all over the place. So Josh was born in the States, but is definitely a Newfoundlander at heart, and the whole dad side of the family. You can actually go check out. We had his dad on Locked On Senators a little while back. An absolute beauty. Dwayne Norris from The Rock. So, yeah, they call him Noof as well. Good on Josh Norris. Good on Drake Batherson. Those are kind of the two guys in the hot seat, Pillsy. Yeah. And now look at them. Look at us now. Who would have thought? Well, all of us at the start of the season, but they snap out of their cold spell. It's warming up, and it's great to see for both Josh Norris and Drake Batherson. Without them, this game doesn't get any further. Now, Chandler Stevenson, that game-winning goal off a timeout set play. It's the Stanley Cup champs, man. It's a sick pass from William Karlsson. Like, I don't really have any blame to go around on that goal. I think you just kind of go, you played your cards right, Vegas.
Game time goal. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I meant. Thank you.
Yeah, so Vegas pulls the goalie. The Sens ice it. Vegas calls the timeout. And this was close because Pinto was lying on that puck for a couple Mississippis there. I bet if he was on there for one more second, the refs might have called him for delay of game there right after the faceoff. But Karlsson gets it, and the key here is the fake shot. He sells this so good. Fake shot, no look pass all the way across the ice, and Chandler Stevenson, he just wires it past Forsberg, who's not ready for that sliding over. I'm not blaming Forsberg on that. I'm not really blaming anyone. Like, I think you summed it up great. That's just one where you got to say those are two top-tier players connecting, and that's a great goal.
And look, Vegas was without Stone and Eichel. Like, we don't have to dwell on that fact. And they missed Alec Martinez for a bit of the second period after he was hobbled off a shot. But like, their best players were their best players. They just didn't have as many as they usually do, right? Marchessault gets his 30th goal of the year. Chandler Stevenson scores twice in this game. Shea Theodore, I thought, had a solid game, and so did William Karlsson as well. So, you know what? I think full marks the Ottawa Senators. Also, like, what made me most nervous about tonight's game is Vegas was coming off a game where they got embarrassed at home and they lost 4 in a row, and it was not going well for them. So I think credit goes to the Ottawa Senators tonight, and there's a lot of individual credit to go around. We also have to get into the overtime because there were some wild plays back and forth. First, I want to tell you about our friends at the Glebe Central Pub. Yes, the Glebe Central Pub is right in the heart of the Glebe. Great food, awesome drinks, amazing atmosphere. The bartenders, everybody's so kind. I'm pulling it up right here. This is the GlebeCentralPub.com, just showing you how easy it is to get your tickets for the Send Shuttle. Sends bus. Boom. Hey, that's us. Locked On Senators. So then for the game Friday, March 1st against Arizona, you just bang, click it, add to bag, and there you have it. Away you go. So come early, have a bite, have a drink, do your thing at the Glebe Central Pub, and then guess what? An hour and 15 minutes, Sue is going to take you right to the CTC. She knows all the back roads. She never gets stuck in traffic. The vibes are always immaculate on the bus to the CTC. Then where she drops you off, she picks you right back up. So you don't have to say, where are you going to be? You just go right back to where you were dropped off, and it's all good vibes. Let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. They're one of our favorite sponsors here on the show. They are the official bar of the Locked On Senators podcast. So please go show them some love. Go check them out, 779 Bank Street, and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you.
Ross, you know how we're looking for new audio for the intro? We got to get Sue to say, this is Sue, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast. I feel like she's becoming a folklore legend here for people that haven't been on the bus, but people that have been on the bus and that are in the chat, they know.
Well, how about the wheels on the Postcast go round and round right at the end of Danger Flutes?
Love that. Love that. And I also love that this episode is sponsored by our friends over at FanDuel. FanDuel is the official online sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network, and for a good reason. Guys, they're North America's #1 sportsbook. Why would you go anywhere else? Don't do it. Go with the best. Go with FanDuel, because right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Now, obviously, we're betting on hockey. Football's over, but basketball is in full swing. All you hoop heads, get in on the action on FanDuel. Baseball's coming back. Get your NFL futures in. PWHL you can get in on FanDuel. There's so much to do. Quick bets.
I'm officially out on betting on PWHL Ottawa.
I thought you were the under king, though. You love the unders in PWHL.
They always hit.
There you go. So you can follow along with Ross on that. You can do live same game parlays. They got exclusive props and more. So visit fanduel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA.
The under did not hit in PWHL's Ottawa's game today. It looked like it was going to after 2 periods. Ottawa was down 2-1. And then there were 6 goals in the third period.
Whoa, 6 in the third. Sheesh.
6-3, PWHL Ottawa loses. But here, the Ottawa Senators, they get their first win over Vegas at home, only their second win over Vegas ever. Their first was March 2nd, 2018. It was a 5-4 win in Vegas. And Pillsy, look, I know, look. It's a long way to go. But the Ottawa Senators are no longer in last place in the Atlantic Division.
Let's go, Ross. Pull the standings up. This is a big moment.
You want to see it? I got it right here.
I want to see it. And
I think what's most impressive about this too is that when Ottawa played Montreal last month, dude, they were 16 points ahead of Ottawa.
Yeah, that's beautiful right there. You're ahead of Columbus and Montreal. A huge accomplishment for your Ottawa Senators. And Ross, look, games in hand, baby, games in hand, and they're ahead here. So is this the meme of the guy popping champagne in 7th place? Absolutely. But hey, life's short. You got to pop champagne when you can.
Hey, you'd rather be moving in the right direction than the wrong one. And I had a great tweet today. I wish I could give it credit, but on game days, Twitter's always moving a little fast to go backwards. But just know if you're here, I love this tweet saying the best part about Ottawa passing Montreal is when the draft comes and Montreal passes on a player that Ottawa will pick, a la Brady Tkachuk in 2018. That ends up being much better. So for any Habs fan that's like, oh yeah, we want the higher draft pick this year. Show me what you've done with higher draft picks.
You can have it.
You can have it. It's all good. Sen's going in the right direction, and we're not going fully delusional just yet. Had they won those games against Chicago and Anaheim, I would look. The Hamburglar run ruined us. Like the Hamburglar run ruined the way that I think logically
you
about.
Take that back. The Hamburglar run did not ruin us. That was the most magical time in our lives.
It was probably the most fun I've ever had watching hockey.
Yeah.
And
other than the 2017 run, probably.
It was
very similar.
Kind of better in a way because they didn't lose ever. They never lost until they got to the playoffs. But it's time. People are calling it the Forsberg run, and I appreciate that, Morgan. But what I'll say is I almost want to call this the sustainability run because they're playing the right way. They're not being outshot by 20 and having Forsberg left out to dry but standing on his head. They're playing very good hockey. Very good hockey.
This might be, and people in the chat can let me know if I'm wrong, but this might be the Sens' best week this season. Like, you're looking at a 4-2 road win up against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Then on the second half of a back-to-back, 3-2 overtime loss to the best team in the Eastern Conference, and a 4-1 win up against Dallas, and a 4-3 win up against the team that always has their number. Like, this is one hell of a week for your Ottawa Senators.
It really was. I respect the heck out of what Jacques Martin is doing right now. I really do. And you got to tip your cap to the coaching. You got to tip your cap to the best hot lunch. And this is the best week we've had in
years. There we go. Love it.
There's still a lot of runway left. Kara's saying it as well. The Ottawa Senators, they got those pesky games in hand right now. And they also have beaten the defending Stanley Cup champion. So Alfie's mullet, you're right, man. Winning culture. Here we go. Still lots of runway left. But if you look at the upcoming schedule, which we'll get to on probably Monday or Tuesdays, Locked On Senators, we'll break it all down. And look, the trade deadline, I mean, Steve Staios is going to have some interesting decisions to make based on the way his team's playing right now and how much, if at all, you want to interrupt that chemistry. By the way, Angus Crookshank just scored his 20th goal of the season down in Belleville. Get him in Kubelik's place. Thank you. Or Zach McEwen. Those guys are playing well down there. But other than Kubelik moving on, man, I don't know even if you have no confirmation that Tarasenko is going to re-sign, I almost think that he's as valuable for the culture of the finish of this season and being able to. When's the last time the Senators ran 3 lines? Yeah. That's what they've been doing tonight, the last week. And that's why they're having this success, Billsy, because every night, tonight, again, it was Norris and Batherson coming through. I thought Pinto's line was really good tonight as well. They were creating a ton of chances, but having 3 lines has just made this team a completely different animal.
Yeah, it has. Ross, I'm going to disagree with you, though. If they can't extend Tarasenko, I don't think he's going to sign an extension. You got to deal him at the deadline.
Well, how would you know? You can always circle back at the end of the year.
No, if you don't know, or if you already don't have an extension, I think you got to trade him. They got to replenish this prospect pool. And Ross, if they do that, that opens up a spot for Crooker to come in and get a better tryout here. So there's positive and negative, but hey, let it be known, I am and have been for most of the year on the side of the argument that I would much rather they extend Tarasenko than trade him.
Okay. Well, this seems like a Locked On Senators conversation. This is the Postcast, and we haven't even gotten in to the overtime, but we'll get to Nicholas Roberts. We appreciate the super chats, throwing a couple of coins in the guitar case. If you trade Tarasenko, Nicholas says, you spend all offseason looking for a Tarasenko.
Yes, correct.
That's true. However, one of those pieces could be Tarasenko, although with the changing of agents, I think any trade would probably come with the understanding that an extension is imminent because he does have a no trade clause. So he could be like, yeah, you want me? extend me a year or two.
Yep.
Otherwise, I won't waive to go there. So Tarasenko
It's true.
really holds all the cards. And Nicholas, I know
Ross.
this is a typo, but Tarasenko is actually a great name.
We got to do that, but with a picture of him holding a cup of hot cocoa or something. Allow permission to be a delusional fan just quickly here.
If you want.
Just quick. I don't do this very often. How about we trade Tarasenko and then he re-signs with the Ottawa Senators as a free agent in the offseason?
It's the old classic.
the
It sounds
ultimate
great in theory,
delusional
but it
fan.
never happens.
No, I think only like once or twice has it ever happened, but it's fun to think about.
I love it.
That's having your cake and eating it too.
Okay, so the Senators after regulation, it's 3-3. You're going into overtime. The OT starts with Tim Stützle, Claude Giroux, and Jake Sanderson going up there against 3 Stanley Cup champs. It was Carlson, Marchessault, and Theodore for Vegas, and G wins the face-off, and then it's just chaos. Like, what was the first note that you have? Because I've got a few back and forth plays.
I always make note of who starts the overtime, Ross. So G, Timmy, Sandy. That's my first note. G wins it to Sandy. G wins it again. Sandy slides over, gets a shot off, but it goes high. My biggest note is Marchessault over to Nicholas Waugh. One-timer stopped and held by Forsberg. I thought that was a big momentum save.
Dude, how about the block by Thomas Chabot? Huge block shot that then turned Pinto into a 2-on-1 where he ends up keeping. And if he had scored that, I mean, I've got the Pinto parlay going all year long where I go Pinto goal sends win. Didn't hit tonight, but all good. I'm fine with that. But that was a great chance there in overtime. And then the breakaway save was everything. The blocker, it was active hands. Like, that's Forsberg's entire body of work tonight was building up to that save he made on overtime on Chandler Stevenson.
Yeah, absolutely massive. Because especially Ross, like you think you finally have Vegas, the team that's been absolutely dominating you since their very existence at home, and then Chandler Stevenson, 2 goals, breakaway in overtime. He scores that hat trick. Dream is over. That would be a pretty tough way to lose that. I mean, dream is over. Dream big, Ottawa Senators beating Vegas Golden Knights in a shootout in February. But still, that would have been such a soul-crushing moment if Chandler Stevenson gets that hat trick there. So that's one where if Stevenson is coming in overtime on a breakaway on Korpisalo, the TV's off and I'm heading to the Postcast studio, fire helmet in a different room, like game's over.
I like that. So my next note is shootouts suck.
I don't hate the shootout nearly as much as you. Do I like it? No, but I've said it and I'll say it again. I was about to say I say it. I've said it every time the Sens have been to shootout one other time this season, so I haven't said it that often. But I do like the way the Ottawa Senators shape up when it comes to shootout, and usually they match up well up against other teams. They have so much offensive talent here that, sure, it sucks. It's a bad way to win a hockey game, but when you need points, you need points, and the Ottawa Senators, at least in my mind, can be a really good shootout team. They're 2-0, baby. Hundo P. Let's go.
Wow, maybe I love shootouts.
Yeah,
no, so it started with Josh Norris came in. He missed high glove. Nicola Waugh, I still haven't forgotten or forgiven him for his missed shootout in 2015 at the World Junior Finals. Remember that was 2017 World Junior Finals in Montreal, where it was Chabot versus Colin White on the ice, and it was a shootout. And Nicola Waugh, he had the game on his stick, and he had to score to keep it going. And he just forgot the puck. Like, it was in the slot. He tried to make a move, and it just sat there. So I was cheering against him there, and a good save for Anton Forsberg. Buddy, walk me through this Timmy goal. He does as many head moves as he does with his stick.
Well, that's the thing. And Ross, as a goalie, you know this, hashtag goalie friendly show. Like, the head fakes, it's so crazy because it means nothing. Like, it doesn't affect the way you shoot the puck. But man, if you're a dialed-in goalie and Buddy does a head fake, you're biting on that more often than not. Just because typically you think that's going to move with the shoulders and he's trying to do a quick move. But really the head fake is just to get the goalie to bite, to make a move. And then when the player recognizes that goalie has made his move, he goes the other way. And Tim Stützle, that's a masterclass of showing how to get that done. And he's able to score there. The only goal of the shootout.
Only goal that they needed. Claude Giroux missed his attempt. He came in very fast.
Which is funny because the first two guys came in quite slow, and G was just like, all right.
The first two were lefties, though. The first two were lefties. He's a righty, and we know Thompson catches backwards or catches with his right hand, so it's a bit different. I wonder if that's part of the scouting report. Clearly, the scouting report from Vegas was go high glove on Forsberg, but he was like, no, I'm good. I got you.
Which that might be like analytically the report, but you got to use the eye test sometimes here. Forsberg's glove was going all night. Like he was flashing the leather all over the place here. I think I would have maybe one of them you would think would mix it up there, but I'm not a fan of coming in fast on the shootout as a shooter, Ross, because again, as a goalie perspective, I find it's much easier to be able to fall back into your net if a guy's coming in fast on you and at a consistent speed, right? Because you can kind of calculate in your head, okay, this is how fast he's going, this is how far out I am. I'm able to follow his speed back into my net perfectly here. And more often than not, you can cut down the angle and he's going too fast to be able to slide over one side or another, and you can get good positioning on that. So for Claude Giroux, I didn't love that approach there.
Fair enough. But overall, you get the goaltending and you get the win. And that's what the Senators did tonight. 4-3, the final score. The Senators beating the Vegas Golden Knights and now moving out of the basement. They're getting their own place.
Yeah, congrats.
They move up to above the Montreal Canadiens. The shots on goal favored Ottawa tonight, 33-29. Each team got a goal on a power play. Ottawa had 3 chances. Vegas had 2. The Senators had a 61-38. There's some decimals in there. I understand that didn't add up to 100. Mea culpa. And Ottawa's 5-on-5 Corsi percentage, 51.5. The hits, Ottawa out-hit Vegas 33-31 and out-blocked them 21-19. All right, Pillsy, let's get to some Send Central standouts presented by the Glebe Central Pub. I'm going to lead off with the poll because we've got a close one on our hands. Who should get the fire helmet from Josh Norris? The votes are still rolling in here, over 340 votes right now, and 50% are saying Anton Forsberg. 42% are saying Thomas Chabot. And I'll leave the rest unsaid right now for those who are watching it later on because we'll get to more. We'll snap it back and forth twice for our Send Central standouts. Who should get the helmet tonight? Who is your first Send Central standout presented by the Glebe Central Pub?
All right, I'm new to this, so only second time I've been able to wear this helmet. Positive vibes, visor down. Let's get her straightened out here. Here we go. I'm ready for battle. All right. The first Send Central standout presented by the Glebe Central Pub and Ottawa Fire. Thanks for the helmets. We love them. Love all the firefighters in the Ottawa area. Anton Forsberg, he's going to get the helmet. He is the first guy I want to shout out here because we're a hashtag goalie friendly show. We've been down on the goalies here, but when they're good, we got to pump them up here. So Anton Forsberg has another good game. He makes a handful of game-saving saves, none bigger than that one on Stevenson in overtime. That massive save on, I'm already forgetting his name here. Rempal on the breakaway. That was huge. A couple good saves. That flash in the leather looking great. So hot launch 4Z. You got it. That's my guy, Anton Forsberg, the first Send Central standout presented by the Glebe Central Pub.
People are saying that you look like a young Danny Heatley out there with the big visor on.
Hey, a big visor. If you're Danny Heatley, you're an all-star. You got to protect your face. Nothing wrong with that.
Thomas Chabot was so good tonight, and he's going to be my first Send Central standout. I believe it's my third, if not fourth game in a row where I'm giving the honors to Thomas Chabot. Yeah, I just love the poise he's playing with. I love that he's picking his spots now. jumping up offensively. He's able to use his shot to beat goalies clean. We saw that again. And even just putting pucks on net, which we saw resulted in the, well, at the time, leading goal and what ultimately got this game sent to overtime, the third goal of the game. He's up to 21 points now, and I know he missed a ton of time as well. If you look analytically, he was a top guy tonight as well. Just everything that you want and hope to see on a nightly basis from Thomas Chabot, he's incorporated into his game for the last little while. Those game score stat cards that come out, Pillsy, he had like a full point more than anybody else on the ice tonight when it came to skaters. So is he elite again? Yeah, he sure looks like it, and they need this guy playing the way he is for the rest of the season. And as Bizla's saying, maybe he's finally healthy. Maybe he's 100% right now, but he's playing 100%, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah, I think that was the right call for the next standout. I think the way people are voting is kind of the hierarchy of how it should go. Forsey should get half, and then Chabot should be right there because they were both such big contributors to the Ottawa Senators having success tonight. And yeah, like I mentioned, this could have been a game where Shabby has a goal and 2 assists because he played really well. He's keeping it going here. And when Chabot is able to play at that level, and then Sanderson is just able to have his smooth, steady games, this team can be so good on the defensive end. Now, a couple other guys that we've already gave them their lashes, their shame. Not so great from them, but Chabot, when he plays well and he's not overworked consistently, this guy's looking good. Chabot, elite again. Let's go.
Certainly, the analytics would agree with that tonight. His 5-on-5 expected goals percentage was enormous tonight. I believe it was near 60. I got it right here. It was 50. Sorry, that's the Corsi. Expected goals percentage tonight was 74.7 for Thomas Chabot. So when he was on the ice, the puck was in the right side of it. And man, like, what more can you say? 53 played at all situations tonight. It was just a great performance from Thomas Chabot. Pillsy, hit me with your second Send Central standout.
My second Send Central standout is going to be deciding between 2 players here. No, you know what? I'm going to go with it. Noof, not only from Newfoundland, but number 9 in French, Josh Norris. Neuf. You love to see that. He had 2 goals up against the Dallas Stars in the last game, and then he keeps it going here. January was dry January for Josh Norris, but February he's back on it. He's got a goal and an assist in tonight's game, +1, about 17 minutes of ice time, 50% in the face-off dot. And like I mentioned, you would rather see him blasting the one-timers home from his office on the power play. That's how you envision Josh Norris getting goals, but plan A doesn't always work. Sometimes you got to find different ways to chip in offensively and contribute. Josh Norris was struggling to find a B game. If he's going to be standing in front and tipping pucks in, it works for me.
It certainly does. Great call on the standout. And like we just mentioned earlier, he's a bit of a streakier player, but I mean, another 2 points tonight for Josh Norris. Give him 4 points in his last 2 games, coming out of his shell, and he's doing just fine. I love that pick, Pillsy. So far we've got Anton Forsberg, we've got Thomas Chabot, we've got Josh Norris. I've got a decision to make here. I do. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go with Vladimir Tarasenko. I thought he was all over it tonight. I thought he had a few opportunities that could have gone in, but I mean, the block shot with 1:40 left. I know that the next play went in the back of their net, but that wasn't on Tarasenko. What was his willingness to get in front of pucks and his willingness to be able to get to the dirty areas in the O zone and D zone. I actually thought that line outside, and I know that one of the goals, the Batherson one, was on the power play. But at 5-on-5, I'm curious what the advanced analytics would say. I thought the best line on the ice tonight was the combination of Pinto, Tkachuk, and Tarasenko. I thought that they were controlling the play, and I just think that there's a different guy stepping up every night. Yeah, if you look at it, they had an 86.7 expected goals percentage, and the other lines who were out there more than them, Stützle, Joseph, and Giroux was 37.5, and Norris, Greg Batherson was 71. So passes the eye test, passes analytics as well, and it was great to see from Vladimir Tarasenko. He's certainly finding a place in Sens fans' hearts. Even if he's a one-year wonder with Ottawa, he's certainly done a lot to dispel any rumors or any kind of preconceptions about Vladimir Tarasenko. This guy gives it at both ends of the ice. And I think that same thing, and I did have a few notes on it, was that Josh Norris was physically engaged tonight as well. And I think that was a huge step forward in what and maybe he's getting healthier now. We know he's all taped up and kind of holding together like that too. But credit to the buy-in right now from this team, and shock the world, baby. Those are our Sens Central standouts tonight. You got anything on Tarasenko?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, man, these are heavy. People don't understand. These are not props. These are heavy fire helmets. Ross, remember before the season started and we talked to Walt Tkachuk, Brady's dad, and he told us Tarasenko's going to get going and he's going to be a big part of this core. Like, he had a lot of good things to say about Vladimir Tarasenko being brought onto this team as a veteran guy that can help score goals. And he's scoring. He's getting offensive chances. He's playing good defensively. You mentioned that block. I like Vladimir Tarasenko, and I hope they're able to find a way to make this work and sign an extension. I swear, maybe this is positive Pillsy, and I'm spin zoning it the way I want the narrative to go. But him switching to Craig Oster as agent, for me, I think that's a good thing for re-signing in Ottawa. And maybe I'm just deciding to think that, but that's the spin zone I'm taking here.
I like that. Let's spin to a few questionable decisions throughout.
I thought you meant spin the tank-thon. I was like, get out of here with that.
Why was Travis Hamonic on the ice in the last minute of the game?
I don't know. Maybe that's as a coaching staff. You're like, all right, let's get our veteran guy out there. He's going to block shots. Maybe you're thinking he's got fresher legs than most people playing less ice time. I don't know, Ross. It's a questionable decision for sure.
He makes questionable decisions, and I think Chychrun's probably the least ideal partner for him as well, because sometimes Chychrun is like all the tools, but has trouble putting it together. That was a disaster pair from the eye test for me tonight. I don't know if the numbers back it up, but they didn't inspire much confidence when they were on the ice, at least in my opinion. All the D pairs had an over 50% expected goals and above. Actually, Branstrom Shabbat was in their own end a little bit more shot attempts wise, but yeah, I just felt there was too many giveaways from that pair, and maybe that's something they can work on now. The one thing I'll say, and I know this has been an extended issue with number 23 and the reason why he's been out of the lineup recently, but I also will give him a tiny bit of leeway that he hadn't played in 4 days and the team had a no practice day yesterday. We actually saw someone on social media posted that Hamonic was working out on the ice by himself at the Sensplex. So maybe just not being in game shape, but in the role that he's in and should be going forward, you have to be ready all the time. And it was a tough night for 2-3.
Yeah, I didn't love his game. Him and Chychrun, not something I want to see more of. But again,
what can you do? Zub was out. He's been battling through it since coming back from that lower body injury, and they're $1 shy of the cap, right? So, like,
yeah, what are you going to do?
You have to put him in.
Yep.
You have to put him in. Unless, like, I'm well past the point of putting Dominic Kubalik on waivers. That's just me. But until they do that or bury some of his money or find a taker, they had to play Travis Hamonic in this game. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah. We're living in a cap world, baby.
Final note from me. It's not even on this Ottawa Senators game, but we have to give a shout out. You already know where I'm going, right?
Yeah, I know where you're going.
The University of Minnesota Golden Gophers women's hockey team did a Ridley Gregg tonight.
Yeah.
And I just want them to know that we really appreciate doing that for us personally. And not only that, how about the fact that their official like the athletic department quote tweeted it and said, "Don't tell the @Maple Leafs," just getting into it. Shout out to Abby Murphy. She's an Olympian already.
Nice.
Future PWHL Ottawa star. Yeah, sign her up.
That would be great. And Ross,
I'm gonna follow her on Twitter. We should get her on the show, actually.
Let's do it. I'm down.
What was going through your head? Ridley Gregg.
Ridley effing Gregg.
So good, man.
But when you start a trend, the people that copy it, they get to learn from the mistakes right away. She was ready for someone coming at her to the chick on the other team. She's like, "Come on, what do you want? Let's go. I'm ready." So that was good that she was prepared for the worst. But luckily, Morgan Riley was not on the ice to have a vicious cross check after that play.
So awesome, dude.
The Greg.
Shout out to Abby Murphy. We had to get that in there as well. I'm looking around to see if Jacques up yet. Not the case. Let's take one last look at our Ottawa Fire helmet. 52% now. Anton Forsberg is in the lead. Thomas Chabot at 40, Tarasenko at 3, and Stützle at 4. Oh my man, we're seeing who reminded me here? Bizla reminded me. That's so funny. I had seen this actually. Our friend Kenzie Lalonde. Pilsy, do you see this tweet?
No. What is it?
It was underneath the post that the University of Minnesota back to that empty net goal. And we already talked with Kenzie Lalonde, even though she's a reporter and a well-respected play-by-play nationally. She said these are all Ottawa fans right now. They're already putting the PWHL awesome. Ottawa jersey out there for Abby Murphy.
Love it. Yep, sign her. Let's go.
So good, man. So good. So that's just, you know what? Good vibes night. We've been hearing a lot of Danger Flutes recently, haven't we?
It's a beautiful tune. We should hear it more often.
I love it, man. So Ottawa's next game, I'm assuming that they'll be off tomorrow, travel day, and then they'll be in Washington on Monday and in Nashville on Tuesday. That Nashville game, it's a Western Conference team. Ottawa's really struggled on the road against Western Conference teams, although Nashville's in Central Time Zone. I had to check because Ottawa's 0-10 outside the East in North America.
Yeah, the Senators, they don't like being in different time zones. Not good for them.
It's not good vibes for them, eh?
No. Yeah, we manage the time zones, Ross.
4-3 shootout win against the defending champs.
Final thoughts for me is I knew they were going to win this game. Even when they were down 2-0, I felt it. They were able to come back. Forsberg was feeling hot. The lines were rolling smoothly. Even when it went to overtime, when it went to shootout, I was extra sure. This has been a great week, as our pal Hot Lunch said. Best week we've had in years. So enjoy it. Enjoy it, guys. Cheers to the podcast.
Enjoy it and enjoy a victory Sunday. Now, we will note, and I should have mentioned this earlier, everyone who's in here won't have this issue. We are changing our audio posting platform.
Yes.
So we will be live Monday at 12:30 Eastern. Our episode Monday will go live. We're recording it tomorrow night, but the transfer, this Postcast will not be available in audio. It's the only one this year that won't. So be a friend, tell a friend. If they want post-game reaction, to go check us out on YouTube. This will live on YouTube. But yeah, no audio of this podcast. And then it will be at 12:30 on Monday that we'll be able to schedule Monday's episode for, and then it should be smooth sailing from there out. It was kind of sad saying goodbye to Megaphone. We've been with them since November 2019. Over 2 million audio downloads on Megaphone. But yeah, you gotta peel the skin and make new ones and make new memories with that. But yeah, LOSP will be available on Monday just after 12:30. Let's get to some super chats to finish off. And if anybody wants to get any questions, that's a great way to do it. Will Scott saying the Corpy buyout is looking mighty sexy today. Yeah, probably a conversation for another day, but the better that Anton Forsberg plays, I think the better it is for the Ottawa Senators down the stretch. But Monday, Tuesday, and this will be a conversation on Monday's LOSP, who starts which game out of those two early this week. If you're going to get delusional and want to make a run, you're going to need both.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to get too deep into the Corpy stuff today. Let's celebrate Forsberg.
All right. And then Steve mentioning Chabot for the helmet for me, one of his best games, and the stats back it up. Hey, Giroux being 14 for 20 in the dot. That's a big night for Giroux. Yeah. And he says a nice note about our conversation with Mathot on Friday. Steve, we really appreciate you, man. Hope you got, by the way, Steve was supposed to get one of the Fire helmets. Reach out to me on Twitter, Steve, if you haven't yet, and we'll make that happen for you as well. Senators win 4-3. We got a victory Monday on our hands. For more, you can follow us on social media. We're at Send Central on Twitter. We're lockedon.senators on Instagram. The show is free and available on YouTube until Monday at 12:30. And then we'll be available again on all podcast platforms. You can still go back and listen to Friday's show with Meth, but just no new episodes will be posted until Monday. And it's just good vibes, man. What's their record like on an extended spree right now? Like since the San Jose game, they're now 11-4-3. It might even sound better if we just do 10-3-3. Like 10-3-3. Like we're starting to roll, fellas. Starting to roll.
Keep her going and keep her going.
Keep her going and keep her going. That's Brandon Piller. I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure you check out the Glebe Central Pub right in the heart of the Glebe. Great food, awesome drinks, the atmosphere to match. And now, why don't we do something to send us in to Victory Monday? Thank you very much, Anthony. I know Anthony wants to hear this. Smash the like. Let's get some Go Sens go in the chats. And now, here's Danger Flutes.